Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 122nd episode of Beyond Classroom. Two nations and decades of hostility. Right now, a very landmark 14 points memorandum of understanding has been signed between US and Iran. What could this MOU holds? We have to unpack this to understand the deeper meaning, what it could have on global geopolitics and around Middle East as well as India. So today we have our esteemed senior faculty members from Next IS to dive deeper into different dimension of this deal and what it holds for India. So my first question is with Piyush sir. So let's start with the basic. What are the major points of this truce?
Okay. This is basically a 14-point agreement between US and Iran basically. If we will see what are those 14 points are there. So the first one is this whole military operation is going to be end immediately, which means that the airstrikes done by Iran also, sorry, US also, Israel also, and the strikes done by Iran also, it will be halt immediately. That's the one thing. So that's why what we say it is kind of ending all military operations. Then they put two clauses which seems to be more idealistic, and it is almost impossible to follow it. Like they talk about respect for mutual sovereignty. So this is almost impossible. Why I am saying this one? Ki Iran is already under a large number of sanctions basically. So following this clause seems to be little bit difficult. And again, this is a 60-day interim deal basically, and the whole comprehensive deal will come after 60 days, and during all these days they are going to negotiate it further. Now how it is going, how it is a relief for the world, because now the US is going to withdraw naval blockade, and at the same time Iran is also going to withdraw the mines it laid over there and allow a normal traffic moving from Gulf to the rest part of the world, specifically to the Indian Ocean region, So it is like reopening of Strait of Hormuz and ending the naval blockade. Now the next point is, and the most important zone basically, which remain undiscussed completely, and that was what happened to the nuclear question basically of Iran. So here in this 14 point, it has been clearly written ki again this 60-day window is there to discuss detail of how this nuclear program of Iran will be ending. But Iran pledged for making no nuclear weapon, but there is no discussion over what happened to the existing critical nuclear infrastructure, the people who are working in that sector, and the enriched uranium. There is nothing written about it basically. So that create you can say a debatable thing around it. Now the next point is which also mark that Iran negotiated very well, and that is like there is a program around 300 billion US dollar will be directly indirectly released to the Iran, that may be in form of lifting the sanctions, unfroze the Iranian assets across the globe. So somehow Iran is going to get back almost 300 billion US dollar in the region. It has been also said that the final draft will come after 60 days and it will be put in front of the UN Security Council, and there is a more clauses that the gradual lifting of the sanctions over Iran, all three sanctions imposed by US all alone, imposed by European countries as well as UNSC or UN imposed sanctions will be gradually discussed and withdrawn. Technically in all these 14 points, which seems to be although I won't say certain, but which seems to be less debatable, it is just immediate one, like they end the war, and it look like the long term war is not going to be happen, it just look like it. But it left lot of space for questioning over the Iranian nuclear program, and making Iran as a more powerful regional power over there, and it is resetting the trajectory of Middle East geopolitics basically. Although everything depends on the future of this 14-point deal basically.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, coming to you, given the nature of Trump, how do you see how fragile is this deal?
To start on a joke, it is said that for Trump, it is said that one thing is very certain, that is uncertainty. So, how fragile is the deal? Yes, the way the deal has been concluded or MOU has been signed, it is a very hush-hush kind of a thing because of the compulsions on the side of Trump. The midterms are coming and there's a lot of like energy crisis and shooting of the prices. So the deal has been signed in a very hush-hush manner. There are a lot of ambiguities, as Piyush sir was also talking about. The MOU has been signed, but there are a lot of ambiguities. So ambiguities रहेंगी तो fragility रहेगी. One of the major issues, like we can say that has not been covered it was Lebanon issue, because Iran wanted that it to be explicitly included in the ceasefire. Though like 10-15 minutes back we have come across that news piece that Lebanon and Israel have agreed for a ceasefire, but how practically it will turn out, it has to be seen, because we have seen so many promises by Israel in the past 2-3 years, but they have broken the ceasefire within 24 hours also. So one is that Lebanon issue is there. Second thing is, there is no, as sir was also saying, there is no clear-cut directives with respect to nuclear issue. The whole war started on the agenda of nuclear issue, but there is no clear-cut directive. It is very ambiguous because there is no mention about limits of uranium. There is no mention of size of nuclear stockpile. There is no mention about scope of IAEA inspection. And Iran has committed that it is not going to have nuclear weapon, but that it has committed because it is signatory to NPT also. And from time to time we have seen that Iran has been questioning the neutrality of IAEA also. So what is the scope of IAEA? Things are not very clear here. Then with respect to ballistic missiles and support to the proxies, there is nothing in this whole MOU. And the allies like Israel and the Gulf nations, many of them are very skeptical about this because there is no mention about ballistic missiles and the support to the proxies like Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis and all. Then if you see, the deal has been signed, but the hardliners in US, in Israel, even in Iran, they are not very happy with the deal. So there will be a lot of pressure on all like individual countries. They will be facing a lot of pressure before signing the deal, because everybody would try to put a pressure on their leaders not to go for a compromise. So then there is a very big rift that we could see between Prime Minister Netanyahu and then President Trump. So this is also going to somehow complicate the delicate balance. And then the global markets and the European allies are very skeptical about this short time frame of 60 days. अभी 60 days में आप कितना कर पाओगे? That is also quite questionable, because this is a permanent, you are looking for locking a permanent settlement and the time frame is just 60 days. So that's why
even some Republicans are also against this.
That is what hardliners are not happy. Even the support base of President Trump, many of them are very critical of this deal. So
yes, Aman, let's see what happens.
Let's see what
coming to Reddy sir, how do you see what would be the economic impact of this deal globally?
Sir, if you see the whole the starting point for the war, or you may say now ending point, so end of the day it revolves around economy, sir. If you see the importance of Iran, especially here, the Strait of Hormuz play very, very important role, because in the global crude oil transportation, almost 20 to 25% of global crude oil move from the Strait of Hormuz, number one. Number two, around 20% of global gas carried through Strait of Hormuz, sir. Officially, Iran says 9 to 10% of global crude oil reserves with Iran. So if you keep this data in mind, this deal play very, very important role in the global economy. Number one, according to the World Bank report, if this war will continue, the world may go to the stagflation. So, in simple terms, the combination of high inflation because of the price rise and high unemployment. So, there is no growth, sir. Number one, it impact our GDP growth. So, if the deal is going to be implemented, positive impact on the global economic growth rate, number one. Number two, the inflation. As we all aware, globally right now, because of the crude oil is the important raw material. If the crude oil is costly, the transportation cost, indirectly it impact our food basket and the global economy also. So, the logistics cost is going to reduce right now, the transportation cost is going to reduce right now, the food inflation is going to reduce globally. Number two, sir. Number three, in economy, whenever there is a high inflation, the central banks will try to increase the interest rates to control inflation. So, whenever there is a high interest rates, it is going to impact the investment because the cost of capital is going to increase, the borrowing cost increasing, they may borrow less, so it is going to impact our global growth rate. So, right now there is a less stress on the central banks. You see recently, American Central Bank, London or UK Central Bank, Indian RBI, they maintained mostly status quo. They didn't increase the interest rates. But if this war may continue 1 month more or 2 months more, there is no deal, then they may increase the interest rates. So indirectly it is impacting our investment cycle also. Number four, sir, globally the stock markets. As you know, after the corona, there is a behavioral changes across the globe among the investors. Now people are habitual to easy money. So if the deal implemented, automatically the companies may do good, profits may increase, the stock markets, the global markets may perform well. When the news came out, then American stock market, European stock market, Indian stock market, across the globe, they reacted very positively. And most importantly, sir, if you see the last two COVID onwards, there is a big impact of COVID on the global economic supply chains. Then Russia-Ukraine war, recently the America-Iran-Israel conflict. So if things are positive on America, Iran and Israel front, the global supply chains may improve. So, and it will also have a positive impact on other countries, small impacts, small conflicts. So overall it is going to benefit the global economy. So it is a positive step if they implement properly.
Okay. Sir, coming to Piyush, sir. Sir, the dynamics of Israel and Iran, how this is going to play going forward because of this agreement?
This is a very interesting question. Okay, how this 14-point program, if it sustains, I'll add on this, okay, how it is going to reset security dynamics of Israel and Iran. So first, I would use few words for this. Okay, actually, this 14-point programs, because this will help you to understand in a bigger way or in a better way. Okay, it is a tactical breakthrough. It is a tactical breakthrough. It is a strategic settlement. It is a diplomatic ceasefire. It is not a geopolitical peace, the most important aspect of it. It is not at all a geopolitical peace. Now, how come it is not a geopolitical peace? Because in the entire 14-point program, one of the frontliner of Iranian security arrangements, those proxies, we technically call it microfunds or excess of resistance, like Hezbollah, Houthis. There is no word for them. There is no word for them. So, if Israel is also part of this whole deal, then Iran is going to get time to rebuild its regional network, and Israel, what it has done in last few months, it has to again redo the things. In a very simple, interesting word, I would say that a scholar has written that Iran want Israel to become a regional cop and keep on looking for everywhere, either rockets coming from Gaza or looking towards the Hezbollah missiles hitting Israel or what is happening in the Syria. And in the long term, it will erode the socio-economic resilience of Israel in the entire region. and ultimately it is going to increase cost of the war for the Israel, not for the Iran. Now, the second important part is it failed to address the fundamental questions which create a security dilemma, or you can say existential threat to each other. Iran is also under this dilemma that Israel is having a nuclear weapon, and Israel think of that ki once Israel will make a nuclear weapon, so it may slip into the hand of their regional proxies also. So, it is a pure existential threat to the Israel basically. So, in the whole deal it has been said Iran will not make a nuclear weapon, but the question of enriched uranium has not been addressed, that critical nuclear infrastructure has not been addressed. So, many scholars see it like Iran is able to buy time of 60 days what to do with those enriched uranium, and even we do not know that ki, in the future Iran is going to make it or not. So, the fundamental nuclear question remain unaddressed over there, and the existential threat remain intact basically. Now, the third dimension of everything, I mean this whole deal, is that it also reduces unilateral power of Israel to take action against Israel and against proxies. Now, how come it is? Because the whole deal is American engineered deal is there. So, if Israel has to go unilateral attack on anyone, so European and Americans are going to put pressure a lot over Israel to withdraw such attacks. Even Iranians are cheating. Now, the option for Israel to go for escalation dominance or to unilateral attack seems to be this window become narrow. Every time it need to mobilize, diplomatically mobilize Americans to show that what the Iranians are doing basically. So, the earlier open hand for the Iran to take care of its security against the proxies or a direct attack to the Iran, it seems to be it become a distant option for Israel, and that is, I believe, it is one of the biggest win for the Iran, and it is a defeat for the Israel, and it is because of that it created or it reset the trajectory of geopolitics in the region. From Gulf perspective also, or a new type of hedging is going to be start. So, in nutshell, what we can say, the security dynamics almost remain the same, because Iranian position remain strong and the Israeli options keep on narrowing down to eliminate the proxies or to see the nuclear existential threat to them, or this capability of unilateral actions against the Iran basically. So, it seems to be more beneficial for Iran rather than
and
Israel.
we have seen this example that that ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, it was because of the pressure from both US and Iran.
Exactly. And the interesting part is that the whole Middle East, I mean specifically I would say Iran, in the Middle East is a major power center, and restricting Israel basically against the Iran, somehow it is going to put Iran at the center, at the limelight, and in a longer run it is going to impact the US allies, Gulf countries over there also. So, that is very challenging for the rest of the powers.
Right, sir, right, sir. Ma'am, if coming to the broader impact, if this deal goes through, so what could be the impact on global geopolitics?
If you see, this war itself has shaped or redefined the global politics, because if you see US and Israel, they had the military superiority, but Iran retains the ability to impose cost and shape the outcomes. So, it itself is showing that how the things are now changing. And with respect to the changes that we could see, one is like there will be reorder in regional alignments, because see, traditionally if you see the Gulf monarchies, historically they have avoided direct conflict with Iran, but this time they have been dragged into it. So, there will be realignment in security architecture also. and the realignment would be in the form of that the Gulf monarchies would definitely would love to go for reducing their dependence on US for security, and they may also go for direct individual deals with Iran. That might be there. Then if you look from supply chain perspective, so there will be shift in global energy security also. Countries are now trying to diversify. Too much dependence on West Asia or the Middle East is now, countries are now they are scared of it. So they are going for diversification. They are trying to reduce their exposure to the choke points, and there will be more focus on alternative sources of energy. That would also be there. This time, if you see again, a pattern of Cold War style division could be seen this time. Western powers versus anti-Western powers. Because if you see, Iran has been, though the countries have not directly come to support Iran, but indirectly we have seen Iran has got a lot of support from Russia, from China, from North Korea. So it is a kind of a Cold War kind of dynamics, Western versus anti-Western countries, that has been there. Then asymmetrical warfare, because if you see, Iran has used widespread cheaper drones against the most sophisticated weapons of US. So this is also going to change the dynamics in the field of security architecture, because the lessons for the medium-sized powers is that invest in cheap security warfare mechanism. So there will be a lot of focus on cheap warfare. Even India is now focusing a lot on drones. And then as far as regional security is concerned, so regional security is not just confined to traditional military security. In this whole scenario, what we have seen is regional security also comprises of security of cyber area, cyber security, food security, security of desalination plants, security of data centers and other critical infrastructures. So this is like what we can see, the new change that we have witnessed in this throughout this whole conflict between Iran and US. So this is going to shape the new changes.
Okay, ma'am. Sir, coming to the specifically the geopolitics of Middle East, and particularly about the Gulf states, how is going to impact that?
Now, how this deal and overall what happened in Middle East going to impact the Gulf position.
Yeah.
So, this profoundness of American disillusionment, of American protectionism. So, there is a basic understanding that America was the one which provides security to their Gulf partners. Now, it is almost under question mark. With lot of American bases, still Iran was in position to strike their Gulf partners. So now Americans are alone, enough to provide security to the Gulf partners. This come under a question. A kind of strategic rethinking starts. Now, most of the security scholars believe that now these countries are going to be adopt policy of hedging rather than the policy of alliance. Earlier they were alliance partner of the US for their security things. Now it look like Iran also established its position. So they will try to get engaged with Iran also. So they can hedge between Iran and US, although they are two asymmetric powers, but still within the Gulf, not globally, within the Gulf, Iran established its superiority in terms of striking US assets across the Gulf. So they will be forced to be more aligned, maybe in economic terms, maybe in diplomatic terms with the Iran. The third important dimension is the importance of new set of emerging powers like India, Pakistan, China will also emerge. Their importance is going to emerge further. Till time,
So Pakistan also.
yes, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia has a strategic deal basically. So
It is also called Islamabad Agreement.
The reason being is that Pakistan militarily is very strong and it has a nuclear weapon. So, it can offer anyone to that nuclear security. And let me tell you, either in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, or in multiple places, it is the Pakistani army that is deployed over there. Whenever there is a crisis on Saudi borders, it is the Pakistani army that fights, it's not the Saudi players basically. So, in a very simple way, the importance of India, Pakistan, China in security terms. Earlier, these powers, except Pakistan, these powers were economically engaged with the West Asian side. Now, what is going to be happen? They may get the opportunity to get engaged in terms of security and strategic alignment. So, it is a kind of hedging by the Gulf states to ensure their security. Now, one more, and there is one more dimension, it is quite interesting. Till time or before this war, the Strait of Hormuz was, maybe it was Iranian, but Iran was never allowed to take the strategic advantage of it. It's like that ki Iran at any point of time make the Indian Ocean states or rest of the countries on hostage by controlling and regulating the traffic via Strait of Hormuz. And Iran multiple times says that ki they look forward to impose certain taxes also. So, somehow this whole war and this agreement assures that our legitimate claim of China over Strait of Hormuz in terms of strategic advantage. And I believe that that's not good for India and rest of the parts of Indian Ocean. This is one more dimension. Now, as ma'am said, there will be a diversification from the other countries. So, Gulf countries will also look forward for their economic diversification. Their dependency over the oil. Now, they also understand what happened, the over dependence over the oil, and they also look for alternative routes. It is not only the Strait of Hormuz, there should be more routes connecting to the Europe or maybe to the Indian side. So, it look like if this deal is finalized and remain for a longer term like 20-30 years, the whole geopolitics of the region for the Gulf countries is going to be changed. And we can also see it more as a as a sign of changing world order basically. The American hegemony or the American unilateralism was not only challenged by Chinese side, even the regional players also successfully challenging the American dominance. So, there is a overall push to the change to the global world order also basically.
Iran is very happy with the deal, sir.
Yes, obviously there is a lot of things for the Iranian, unfreezing $300 billion and the Iranian assets across the world, it's a big thing for Iran. It's going to emerge not only against Saudi Arabia. Look, Iran is a powerful country in terms of military. If you look into its military, it's the most powerful army over there. One cannot defeat Iran, one means any outside powers, without entering into our ground fight with the Iranian side, and that's an impossible task. Saudi Arabian forces are not that strong basically. So, Iran as a one power center is going to emerge further. It was earlier militarily only, now it is going to be economically only.
वहाँ पे मीडिया में चल रहा है ना सर, equivalent to what we call in Hindi, पांचों उंगलियां घी में सिर कढ़ाई
हाँ
में.
बिल्कुल वो वैसे ही चल रहा है.
Just wow.
So in that indirectly there was one provision. American-led private RMS investors invest almost $30 billion to rebuild the war-affected areas in Iran.
And one more important dimension of this one, even Trump at multiple times says that he'll also look forward to get certain money from the Gulf countries. So with the whole, I mean, if you analyze the whole thing, so Americans may lose their reputation. Maybe he's looking for some transactional benefit through this deal, but the Iran is in the best position.
Right.
But sometimes I doubt it is a strategic trap.
Maybe it
It
is
may
quite
be a
possible.
strategic trap. So maybe the 60-day time is all about recalibrating the things, and we can't trust the US. Trump not at all. So maybe at the last minute he'll tweet something else over there, and things will change.
There is a term for Trump, taco. Trump always chickens out. So he always makes a U-turn. So coming to that impact on India, what could this deal have impact on India? So
If you see the India and Iran relation especially, mostly the energy related. If you see the before sanctions, we used to trade around $20 billion worth. But in 2019, it reached to $1.6 billion only. And coming to the crude oil, we used to import a lot from Iran traditionally. But in 2020, virtually we are importing zero. So we were getting a cheap crude oil from Russia, etc. Now it gave an opportunity for India also to re-engage Iran, because India and Iran has historically very good relations. So number one, we may get cheaper crude oil, and you know, sir, compared to the Russian crude oil, Iran has a qualitative, so less refining cost is there, less content of sulfur, etc. So number one, it is going to impact our crude oil, and the whole supply chain going to become affected positive way. So in other words, the imported inflation in India may reduce, number one positive impact. Number two, we may increase our exports also. Right now, because of the sanctions on Iran, we were unable to engage much, because our companies, everybody look for bigger trade, mostly in Europe and America. But Iran is a small economy, so now they may rethink to export to Iran. So our exports may pick up. Number two. Number three, sir, if you see the what you called India and Iran relations investment, especially the Chabahar port, etc. So there were so many articles, almost it is virtually halted. We may invested some money there because of sanctions and war, etc. There is no clarity. Now we may re-engage in rebuilding or continuing the Chabahar port, that will benefit our India's strategical also. Number four, coming to the consumers within India, recently you might have seen the last 2 to 3 months especially, the gas supply get affected, cylinders, LPG cylinder, and indirectly it is going to increase the cost of government subsidies, because now government reduced excise duty on petrol and diesel, so that the burden won't shifted by the oil companies to the consumer. So the fiscal deficit may increase. Now if the deal is going to implement it positively, then our fiscal deficit may not rise much. So indirectly less stress on government borrowings also. And indirectly the household also benefited, because if you see the smaller sections and weaker section right now, there are small scale industries. In India, since a lot of migrated people, they may not have LPG gas connection because of documentation issue, etc. Now, if the gas supply improves, then less stress on our household people also. And most importantly, as I told sir earlier also, stock market. Indian stock market, if you see, last 2 years, because of multiple factors, virtually they go zero returns. So indirectly, there is a positive sentiment among the investors also, because of this cheaper crude oil, etc. Interest rates will be lower, then our companies may borrow more and they may invest more, so it may give good returns. So overall, positive sentiment for the investment community also. And most importantly, sir, if you see the logistics, overall India's logistics, thanks to this Bharat Mall, etc., already lower logistics cost. But now we are importing crude oil from traditional Russia right now and Iran. Let's say because of these tensions, we have to pay more insurance. Some insurance companies not offering the discount for them. Now we may bargain for cheaper insurance cost, etc. So overall, India may benefit from this agreement.
And India-US relationship also
strengthens, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in strain because of recent issues
Yes, sir, yes.
regarding this.
Yes.
Ma'am, this was the economic aspect. If we see in broader perspective, how India should view this deal?
See, if you see, this deal is very good for us. You have asked that how India should view it. India should view this deal from a very positive perspective. At the moment, it's a big relief to us, as Reddy sir has also said, because it is going to somehow help us in coming out of our energy crisis, fertilizer crisis, energy crude as well as LPG, everything, the crisis would be cut down. And then it's a big relief for India, because if you see the safety and security of seafarers, because at the moment around 17 to 20% of the global seafarers are Indian people. So that is also another relief for India. And how India should take this opportunity of this MOU signed. See, as we have discussed the MOU, there's a lot of fragility attached to it. And as we have discussed that this is a MOU signed at the moment, but this is not a sustainable peace in the region. So this kind of situation might happen in future, and it would definitely happen in future also. So this is the time, buffer time, we have got to prepare ourselves. So we should utilize this time to prepare for we have to diversify our energy supplies. Then this is a time where we can also invest in our alternative energy systems. This is the time where we can make ourselves more self-reliant on energy sector. This is the time where we can also take the opportunity to revive the strategic connectivities, as we were discussing about INSTC and Chabahar and all. And then we should also independently engage with US and Iran. And we should have a very clear-cut dehyphenation now, because see, we should be taking both as equal independent partners. We should not see this relationship from the shadow of US. And then in the meantime, I also feel that India should work diplomatically. We should work towards, and we should go for a more global dialogue on the safety and security of seafarers, because 20% of the seafarers are of Indian origin. So we can take this opportunity for defining these things.
Yeah, sure.
So personally, I believe that this deal may be an immediate relief to India, but in a longer run, it is going to create a lot of challenges.
Yes.
And the bigger challenge will be this economic fragility and importing of the oil will be always under question mark. But there is a solution of it is also there. Like India is a big country and considered to be a major power, specifically in South Asia and Asia. So there is always a new negotiation can be on strategic oil reserves. We can look for a bigger deal of strategic oil reserves, and we can buy a lot of oil from these countries. Then India should go for more investment. I'm not talking in terms of money, I'm talking about political and diplomatic investment, is specifically to the Shia countries. The Indian investment, political and diplomatic investment, is very less basically. So because of the US pressure to a certain extent, the Indian alignment with the Shia groups become weakened in last 4 or 5 years basically. It's important to rebuild it. It's very important basically because it has other implications also in case of Afghanistan and Pakistan. That is why we look forward to rebuild that particular strategic alignment with the Shia countries. One more dimension of it basically, China is already sharing a very good relationship with Iran. So to a certain extent I feel that India is lagging behind it, because India-Iran relationship under the US pressure has deteriorated a lot. We lost a oil block deal from Iran and Oman also. Apart from that, our oil import from Iran is significantly scaled down basically. Our projects in Iran are on the halt basically. So China got a strategic edge over there, and because of the US pressure, this initiative of I2U2, well, it seems to be, I'm not saying it's no use, but this initiative, become less important, and India need to again, play a very positive role in restarting and renegotiating I2U2. There is no need to be dependent on the US. This US offshore balancing strategy in the region is not working basically. So India should look forward to take a bigger role, because their economic role is going to be now limited and very risky in the region basically.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah. Another thing here is like, if you see the Red Sea route, Houthis are there, and Houthis are proxies of Iran. Lot of your trade is passing to that region. So that is why, like we discussed, that there should be more dehyphenation in our relationship with respect to US and Iran. So that angle is also there, because now sea routes are quite
Yes, ma'am. Sea routes
dangerous.
are the new Silk routes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
in the
Please.
last few months, if you see, there is a lot of stress on Indian rupees, especially. But for short term, again, everywhere short term and long term, there is impact. But in the short term, there is a positive impact on Indian rupee INR. If you see the moment we got a deals the news, there is a rupee strengthened. So once rupee is strengthened, there are multiple things. More FDA may come, more FPA will come. So they get a positive returns. So it is in the short term, there is a debate that right now this deal impact multiple countries in multiple ways. But if you see Asia, especially the China, India, Russia, especially South Korea, these benefit a lot. Among all, China may benefit more. But if you see the Indian context right now, in the short term aspect, we are the one big beneficial right now, sir.
Okay. So this was regarding this particular MOU which has been signed between US and Iran, and we are hopeful that it should go through, and the kind of impact, positive impact which it can have on global order and as well as India should fructify. This topic was suggested by one of our students, and we have taken this up, and I would request all of you to keep on suggesting topics which you want us to cover in Beyond Classroom, and if this topic is relevant to civil services, we'll definitely take it up. Without your participation, this program cannot grow, and we need a wider participation from the students. We are doing this since last 122 episodes only for the benefit of the students, and we'll keep on doing so because we have received a lot of appreciation from, especially from sincere students, that this program has benefited them. So till next Friday, we'll take your leave. Thank you and Jai Hind.